Well, welcome to the Okanogan Forest channel. It's been a while since I put out a new video, and so I'd like to do that now and give you a very simple introduction to my container cabin home here up in the Okanogan Highlands. You've seen some of these before, but here first let's just take a look over. There's the outhouse to the left, and there's my transportation, and the door is open to the container cabin. Of course, it's Memorial Day weekend and a beautiful day, so there's really no need for a fire at this time. But let's walk over. Forgive me, but let's walk over and take a look at how I now have the container set up. It really is a beautiful day. And I should say, if you look right up there in this tree, I have a birdhouse. And this year I have tenants. I have people living in my birdhouse, or should I say birds. It really is nice to be up here this weekend. And it's a beautiful, beautiful time of year to be here. Well, let's take a look at the container cabin. The one thing that I want to, and I've mentioned this in other videos, I want to point out the door system that I have. This is really, for me, is what I call my tin tent. Or you could think of it as an Adirondack shelter. I like to have it open. And so you can see I have that plastic curtain that comes down from the frame. And then the bottom half is like, I guess, like what would you call it? A Dutch door. That slides back and forth, and it allows you to have a big open window and lots of light inside the container. Let's go ahead and go inside and have a look. I don't have any light on in here now, so you're just going to have to bear with me. This is the natural light of the sun coming in. There is the stove, and this is the kitchen area that's presently being bathed in light, and that's where a lot of the cans are opened and the onions are cut and so on and so forth. Let's just pivot around to the other side. We'll look at each thing, and this is the storage area in those big containers, and that works really well. You can see identifying wolves in the wild on the wall there. And my wood supply is here. Like I said, I don't need to have a fire now. It's so beautiful. But what I've started doing is bringing my wood in these kind of either IKEA bags or these feed bags that I get from my brother. And that's a good way to keep the dry wood stored in here. And if you look here, here's the chairs right there in front of the fireplace. And the fireplace is all cleaned and ready to go. And then our cabinets, kitchen cabinets, I should say, are right here. This is where I keep all the utensils and all those things that I need to have for cooking. And I've done it in other videos, but let me go ahead and start at the beginning and say there is the library up there. Lots of things up there to see in the library and read when you have time. And again, this right around the stove is the area that I like to keep all the cooking utensils in this area right around the stove. And one of the things I brought up this time I'm really pleased with, a Goodwill purchase, are the implements for the fireplace right there. That's a new item. Now you can kind of look back a little bit and see the kitchen area, which is by the door. Let's go ahead and move around slowly here. and look at the tool and the equipment area. This counter here is where I have stuff relating to the fire and tools and stuff like this across. This is the tool area where we keep the tools. And then finally, it's a bit of a mess, but there is the desk area, and that big container I brought up some things. And you know, I'm really happy with these new lanterns that they have. They were just really, they work great in this particular case. And you can see more books. It's good to have all those things in your cabin. And of course, here's another poster that I have, The Life of the Cougar. The cougar's making lots of news recently because there was a cougar attack here in Washington State where someone was attacked and killed by a cougar, which is a rare occurrence, but nonetheless is something to consider when you're out hiking in cougar country. My solution is partly right there on the desk, but I would have to tell you, I think probably bear spray is probably the best choice for that, and it's something easy to carry. Now we're back here at the kitchen, or at the bedroom, and you can see the bunks. And this again is just natural light coming in all the way from the open door. This long shelf turned out to be really useful because it provides lots of storage for things that I need up here in the cabin. So let's turn around and take a look again. You can see the sunshine. This is in the afternoon. The sunshine coming in the door and bathing the entire cabin with lots of light. So that's how things are right now inside the cabin. And I have to say that it's really very comfortable because you've got the fireplace. You may be able to see there, I'm not going to have, as I said, I'm not going to have a fire tonight, but I will light these candles up on top of the fireplace, which is a great way to have some light and kind of enjoy the solitude up here. Thank you for taking the time to take a look at my container. And again, let me say it's refrigerated container cabin. And the reason refrigerated is so important, right now it doesn't matter. But in the winter, when it's cold at almost 4,000 feet and there's snow, this fireplace and the insulation are really important. And that's something I want people to be very much aware of as they consider how they might make a cabin like this on their property. Now, there's one last thing I'd like to tell you about before I say goodbye on this video. Let me go ahead and pivot around here so that you can look at the cabin from the other direction. You can see my shadow, actually. Now, that one other thing is that I have now used this cabin for almost 10 years. And my total investment in this cabin, including the heavy equipment required to level the land and to get it all adjusted correctly, was right at about $5,000. That is frugal. That is frugal. So I spent $5,000 10 years ago for this cabin where I can stay and enjoy myself and have solitude and peace and quiet from the busy city. And that's all I've spent. So keep in mind that one of the advantages of living simply and being frugal is that you're not a slave to the bank. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at this video from the Okanogan Forest channel. And hopefully I will have some more to show you before I leave this time. Take care and be safe. I'd love to have you subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear about your project. So do communicate. Take care and be safe.